Hello, my merciful brothers and sisters. It is I, MisterMercy, bringing you another video with some Overwatch gameplay. So in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Sombra news that came out with the update of AMomentInCrime.com, as well as a broader issue that I see going on with not just the Sombra ARG, but really the entire gaming community. So let's get the new Sombra stuff out of the way first, because it's really short and simple. So Sombra's Omnic hack is officially complete, and we now know that she was specifically targeting the E54 model of Siege Automaton, which is the model number for the Bastion that we all know and love, and she actually mentioned Bastion by name in AMomentInCrime.com. So Bastion has been officially compromised by Sombra. Now, whether it's specifically the Bastion that we play as in the game, if it's that particular E54 unit, or if it's just a general collection of E54 Siege Automaton units, the similar model to what Bastion is, we don't really know. But she does mention Bastion by name, so I'm assuming that she is specifically targeting Bastion from Overwatch. And this is my theory, is that Sombra could potentially be using Bastion to turn Overwatch against each other on the issue of Omnic and human relations, and trying to bring peace between the two races. She could kind of try to create a civil war within the team about, some people who admire Bastion, some people who like Bastion, want to stick up for him even after he turns on or turns on people, or commits a lot of like damage and devastation and stuff. And you could have the other members of the Overwatch team that aren't happy with Bastion and want to kick him out of Overwatch, and believe that this is going too far for Bastion, and that he needs to be punished. And so you could have this like really interesting civil war dynamic within Overwatch based on what Sombra does to Bastion. I think that'd be really, really interesting. But that's just speculation. That's not like confirmed or anything. That's just off the top of my head about something they could do with this in terms of the lore of this game. So there doesn't seem to be any noticeable in-game changes to Bastion that could possibly hint at more Sombra clues, but I will keep you guys updated on that front. So the second little bit of information we got from AMomentInCrime.com came in the source code. And now in the source code there appears to be a new patch number, which is version 1.4.0.2.324 ? Now, the current version of the live game that we are running on now, the one with the Halloween Terror event, is version 1.4.0.2.32374. So I'm guessing that the next big upcoming patch for the game will include Sombra. Now, people think that, maybe the reason why the patch number that was leaked on AMomentInCrime.com, maybe the reason it has question marks is because that's more like Sombra trying to, hide what patch she's actually in. But honestly, applying Occam's razor to this, I do believe that the reason why there's two question marks at the end of the patch number is not because Sombra is trying to hide what the patch number is. It's because the Blizzard doesn't really know specifically what patch they're actually going to be able to put her into. They don't know if they're going to make any more patches to do to fix out some bugs and whatnot. So they just left those last two numbers of the patch number blank because they don't know which patch they're actually going to be putting her in. But they do know that it's coming after 3.323 and coming in 0.324. So we do know the official patch now of when Sombra will be released into the live game, and doing some speculation, I do believe that the next patch we're going to get is on November 1st, which is when the Halloween Terror event is going to end, and I believe that we're still going to be on 0.323 when that ends, maybe like 0.323 like 96 or something like that for the end of the Halloween Terror event. And we could get something possibly in the patch notes of that upcoming patch that's going to be patching out the Halloween Terror event. We could get some special Sombra clues in the patch notes for that upcoming patch. And it's very possible, I know I've said before in my streams, that she'll be probably playable at BlizzCon first. I do believe she's going to be playable at BlizzCon first, but instead of her appearing on the PTR later, after BlizzCon, and then a couple weeks after that being in the live game, it's possible that maybe, you know, Blizzard has just done enough internal testing that they don't even need to put her on the PTR, and who knows, maybe they just actually say, oh, by the way, at BlizzCon, oh, by the way, Sombra's going live tonight. Or, you know, or they could wait. They could wait until after BlizzCon to patch the game again. Who knows? But we do know the patch number that Sombra is probably going to be in, so that's really cool. And, you know, I do believe that this is officially the patch number that Sombra will be playable in. So, apart from that little bit of news, there really hasn't been a lot of information to go over about Sombra. But I wanted to use this recent development as a reason to talk about a topic that I've been wanting to cover, like, since before my channel even started. And that's the gaming community's problem with hype trains. Before I get into the bulk of that, I want to bring up something. So I do believe that Blizzard did have something bigger planned for the completion of AMomentInCrime.com's hack. I believe we were going to get something substantial, possibly like alluding to the identity of Sombra, like what she looked like and stuff. But of course, as I covered on my channel a few days ago, we had that big leak that revealed Sombra, and that leak has pretty much been confirmed, like 99% at this point, due to the other part of the leak that detailed about Junkenstein's revenge, which of course was the exact brawl we did end up getting for the Halloween Terror event. So because that part of the leak has been confirmed, pretty much you can take the rest of this leak as really credible and, you know, legitimate. And you can bet that Blizzard is pissed about this leak. I'm fairly positive that they are furious that this leak got out, and because it probably ruined their future plans for the ARG. They probably had like several things lined up for the ARG after, you know, MomentInCrime.com was completed that now are going to be completely pointless because, you know, we are already seeing what Sombra looks like, and that probably is the reason why we didn't get a big you know, thing this time with MomentInCrime.com. Is they probably had something bigger planned, but because Sombra got leaked and, you know, her design was officially revealed, that all that had to be thrown out the window, and they had to come up with some meaningless crap instead in place, because people were waiting for MomentInCrime.com to complete, and they knew that when it did, something was going to happen. But, you know, Blizzard didn't have anything because they were planning on doing something that was going to, you know, probably reveal what Sombra looked like to us. But since it's been leaked, they have to come up with something on the fly to, you know, to cover their ass on that. So yeah, they're probably pissed about that leak coming out. But I do think that they're going to still do a few more things for the ARG before BlizzCon. I do believe that that Sombra will be, you know, talking to us or be mentioned in some capacity on November 1st, as I said, because that's when the Halloween Terror event is officially patched out. So I'm assuming that may be the way that she actually talks to us, is in the patch notes or when they patch out that event. And because, you know, Sombra has all these symbolism things, and her culture, it seems to share a lot with Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead in Spanish, and that is officially on November 1st, as I've covered before. So, and maybe you know, it'll be a little bit more substantial next time. But yeah, I'd keep an eye on the patch notes for you know, 0.324 when that officially drops, or even before then, when, you know, the Halloween Terror event is officially over. I'd keep my eye out for that. So, you know, admittedly, I can sympathize with the people that are upset about this particular development in particular, because we waited basically 2 months for a couple lines of text that didn't really add much to the ARG. But as I said, I think it's indicative of another problem that gamers have, and that's riding hype trains until they derail. So this is the thing, the gaming community has this problem where we get excited way too easily, and I think that we let our imaginations and expectations run a bit wild from time to time. And I first noticed this problem back in 2013 when Destiny was announced. I watched the reveal trailer at E3 and thought to myself, there is no way that this can be as good as they're making it out to be. And I knew that even a big company like Activision and a respected developer like Bungie, they couldn't really deliver on the grand game their marketing promised. Like they tried to make Destiny seem like it was going to be the holy grail of space FPS, and I knew that they couldn't deliver on that, but yet I saw thousands of gullible nerds just frothing at the mouth about how amazing and epic this game was going to be. And they were speaking about features that hadn't even been officially announced to be in the game, but they believed to be in the game simply because they saw a few seconds of gameplay in a trailer. Like, for example, remember the spaceships that we saw in the Destiny reveal trailer and stuff? People thought, oh, we're gonna be able to fly spaceships. Holy shit! The spaceships are just loading screens in the game. So they just let their mind run wild. They assumed they were gonna be flying spaceships just because they saw a spaceship on screen. But there was no indication that was actually going to happen. They just let their imaginations run wild and, concluded things about the game that hadn't been announced and basically let their imagination get away from them. So then 2014 came. The alpha for Destiny dropped, and I was even less impressed with the game. I knew this game wasn't going to be as good as people were hyping it up to be. And it was only when the game came out in September 2014 that people realized they had been got by the marketing and realized that Destiny was just an average FPS at best. But after that I thought, well, that's probably just a one-off thing. I mean, people were super hyped for Bungie's next project even before Destiny was announced. So maybe it was just a one-off thing because Bungie's next IP was so anticipated. And then No Man's Sky was announced, and I'll admit, at first I too was drawn in by their marketing for the game, and it sounded really awesome because it was a procedurally generated universe with an infinite number of planets. It did sound pretty amazing, but the more I thought about when I was thinking about No Man's Sky, I'm like, how can they possibly have an infinite number of planets? It doesn't make sense. And so I thought more and more about the technical limitations of such an idea, and when I looked at those technical limitations, I began to step back and look at the broader picture of the game and see really how dull the game really was, while everybody was just having their nerdgasms about the trailers and screenshots and everything. And again, once the game came out, it didn't meet everyone's astronomical expectations and is now one of the lowest rated games on Steam. And I'm seeing it again with the Sombra ARG. Fans got so engulfed by the speculation and the wonder of it all that they now have no capacity for allowing Blizzard to casually meander to Sombra's release. And I don't agree with the people that say, oh, I'm sick of Sombra and I don't even care anymore about her coming out in the game because the ARG, it's just taking too long and didn't meet my expectations and stuff. So yeah, because I don't agree with the people that are turned off to Sombra now simply because the ARG didn't meet their huge expectations. Because I'm realistic about it. I assume nothing about a game until I have it in my hands and I can play it, or in the case of Sombra, until I can play the actual character. And mark my words, you will see people getting upset when Sombra releases and she just turns out to be an average hero just on par with the rest of the heroes in the game. And I don't know why people assume that Sombra is going to be some overly impressive hero. Maybe it's because of the build-up to her, I don't know, but the build-up is no real indication that Sombra is going to be just a better hero than any other hero in the game. And I think that gamers have a problem of putting certain developers and games way too high on a pedestal before they can actually form their own logical opinion about the game by playing it. And it's a worrisome trend when you think about it, because if gamers don't wake up and start being cool, calm, and collected about new games before they come out, then the industry won't even have to try anymore. All they'll have to do is market the game and the developers making it as the second coming of gaming's Jesus Christ and make it sound like it's going to be the best game of all time without actually having to make a good game. And they'll make enough money on the hype alone to make the game successful, even if people end up hating it a month or so later. It's even if people stop playing it, 2 or 3 weeks down the line, they don't care. They've made their money. They made their money and then some. So they don't care if the game's actually good. They just need to make it sound like it's good, and people will buy it based on hype. And that's a worrisome trend that I hope doesn't get too out of hand in the gaming industry. So I hope this video has helped bring you down to earth and help you realize that getting excited about new games and upcoming content is fine. But don't expect too much for a game or update until you actually have it in your hands and can play it for yourself. Because otherwise, it's going to be bad for you, it's going to be bad for other gamers, and it's just going to be bad for the industry as a whole. But that is really all I had to say on the matter. So remember, guys, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'm MisterMercy. Peace, everyone.